What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Funsie podcast. No delaying. You know Jay Millie. You know Mr. Ben. It's the man of the hour. We've got Sir Anthony from Happy with Par with us today. What's up,
Oh
dude?
man, I'm excited to be here. It's truly an honor. I mean
Completely.
it.
I like we. Yeah. To pull back the curtain a little bit. I mean, this man. I think it all started at the expo this past year, the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. It was then known as. I
Yeah.
was just like walking around checking stuff out, and this dude, just out of nowhere, don't even know him. He's like, "Yo, that's my boy." He's like, "Yo, this dude makes funny content," and I was like, "Dude's gassing me up in the middle of the floor, and everyone's staring at me," and I'm like. People know me. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, just like waving, like, what's up, hey, and
Hello, brother.
yeah, talking, and I'm just like, oh no, this dude gets it. He's awesome.
Well, yeah, I think I don't remember exactly what I saw from you. I think it was, maybe one like making fun of disc golf influencers, like disc golf influencers be like, and it
Hmm.
was just kind of the typical thing. And I'm always laughing at it too because even when I'm making videos, I'm like, "What's up, guys? It's Anthony." I'm like, "Why do we do this?" Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. You're like,
it's
who
so
are you,
cheesy.
dude?
Yeah, but it feels like it's like what you're supposed to do because other people do it, but whatever. Yeah, so yeah, I just thought you were funny and I liked your content and maybe you had like a couple cool songs or something. People's music, when they like tie their music interests into their accounts or their content, I really dig that. So,
Right. No, I appreciate that. But it also kind of speaks to the kind of person you are, where you're like, I like this thing, don't care, just gonna say how I feel. Um, but yeah, dude, you've got we know you because of Happy with Par, like this brand that you've been doing that seems like it's blowing up, and you're kind of finding it everywhere within the disc golf space as of late, which is pretty cool. I
thank
mean,
you,
we
man.
we previously talked about the imposter disc golf. They had an entire section of I think it was the second or third video, an
Third.
entire
Yeah.
yeah, an entire segment of it was based off of Happy with Par. So yeah,
Yeah.
please. I mean, anything that you would like to, I got to do, like, get all the formalities out of the way of, like, what is Happy with Par? Why Happy with Par? Who is Anthony?
Yeah, explain a 10,000 foot view of
It's so much to
everything.
unpack. No, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I've told this story a couple times, and if you run into me, it's kind of like a cookie cutter version that has just it was genuine and authentically started coming up, but then I'm like, well, this just kind of feels like the way I describe it. So anyway, Happy with Par is, or now it is, disc golf merchant apparel for the everyday golfer with an emphasis on positive mental attitude. Originally, it
PMA.
was just PMA, baby. Yeah. Originally, it was just a second Instagram because I started posting a bunch of disc golf stuff, and all my other friends were like, "Bruh, like get back to the program. We're not into disc golf." And yeah, it just kind of felt like, all right, cool. I'm gonna make a disc golf Instagram, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, and like one thing led to another, and it just kind of inspired me to take it a little bit more seriously based off of connections that I was making with people like you and with Ben too. Like I ran into Ben, I think at Smugs 2023 for Worlds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's when I was.
Yep. First.
So first expo already happened, and yeah, that's when
Yep.
I had a little more
Yeah.
swagger in
I
my
remember.
step, and I was like, let's get some
I
people to the
remember seeing
expo.
Ben out there and just recognizing you like from Instagram too. Like it's weird how that's the way it is now. You just have this giant community of friends, like people that you vibe with in real life, but then you actually meet up and you're like, oh, well, let's make something happen. You're already doing something like, yeah, cool. Um, yeah, the collaborating with people that I dig and just kind of like being open about things that I dig, I think is like something that I didn't do a whole lot in my younger years because I was too
Hmm.
cool, you know what I mean? And then you just kind of get to a point where you're like, I don't know, it's just so much feels so much better to like drop the, I don't know, the security blanket of being like, I don't
Being
know,
The cool
swag,
guy
hoity-toity
act.
sometimes.
being swag
Yeah.
YOLO.
Yeah, yeah. When you're dripping in swagoo, that's a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? You feel heavy.
A lot of weight.
Yeah, you
Cue
can only
that,
lie for so long to get on Discraft Underground 2021 era.
yeah. And yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I just like being like, trying to be open and setting that example too. Because I think like if more people were, you ever run into somebody and you're excited to talk to them and they're like, yeah,
Yeah, they could
Yeah,
not care less.
they're a box
that
of oatmeal.
sucks.
That's what I say. Never meet
Yeah.
your idols. That's why they say
Yeah, but you hang out with Simon all the time.
it. Is he your idol?
I mean, I'm sure some people are probably like, yo, I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
love to play around with Simon.
probably. But yeah, I guess Simon was never
When you
my
hang with the
idol,
elite,
but
it's easy to
yeah.
say that, bruh.
He's an exception. He's not. Never once have I been like, oh, this is not the Simon I was expecting. Like, no, he's himself, which is
Do
cool.
you think that's just because you already like are from that area, seeing him out and about? There's like that loose, there's that close exposure, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I guess yeah, maybe just over the years, just like hanging out with him more and more, just being friends with him. Don't really ever kind of think um, like this is not how he acts or what I thought he was. I don't know. I feel like we've been friends for like the past 2 years now that I don't even remember what I
Mm.
what I originally
Right on.
thought.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get that.
Okay, so the entire idea of Happy with Par, I would imagine, is probably points to like a lot of like mental health awareness, correct?
Yeah, for
Mental
sure.
Health Mondays.
And
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
I'm your
yeah,
biggest
that's right.
fan,
Yeah,
bro.
Chandler Fry, dude.
That's
But
like how me and Chandler hooked up was the Mental Health Monday thing, really,
yeah,
which
but
is kind
that's
of cool.
yeah, that is super cool because for whatever
Yeah.
reason, like talking about how you feel is considered like corny to some people.
Yeah.
And like meanwhile they're like the exact kind of person that's speeding home in traffic and they're like, "Ah, I'm angry at the world and everything around me."
Yeah, like you could
Um,
That's so
definitely
funny.
use to talk about it, but just let some steam off. But man, that's not
right,
cool.
right. So I mean like you and I have kind of talked briefly about this, but like why dedicate an entire brand around like a message like that, especially in like disc golf where I don't imagine like too many people are really talking about that, even though the entire like a huge aspect of disc golf is mental game.
Yeah, I think I've always like first off, I kind of just like have to have a creative outlet, and I've always had one in one way or another. You and I have talked about this before, but like before it was kind of like music. Nah, it was music straight up for a long time. Like that's what I kind
My
of hung my
boy.
hat on. I was never like a musician. I dabble or like on different instruments, but I was always like a front man. But being in a band, just kind of gave me that like world in my head that I could just like funnel my creativity into. And even when I did that, it was kind of a message of like, we had this one song called Not a Bad Day. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, if it's not a bad day, that's still, a good day. Or, if it's not a bad day.
Completely.
And it was just, yeah, it was just kind of always like, I don't know, like little cues to mindfulness that I think I didn't even necessarily realize that I was like working on, but being somebody who kind of like struggles with mental health stuff and always kind of has. And maybe not like crazy, but even just, you get into your winter blues and kind of like snap into like all or nothing thinking and just like, I don't know, it kind of takes a toll pretty quickly. And yeah, so when I started playing disc golf, mental game just kind of like revealed some of my self-talk and stuff like that again and was a cue or like kind of made me recognize like bruh, that ain't the super cool the way you're being, the way you're talking
Hmm.
to yourself, the way you're carrying yourself. So yeah, like I said, it kind of just started as a thought that I was really using for myself. Just because like when I started playing golf, I got introduced by a couple buddies of mine who had already been playing for years and starting to build like a league around here. And so I get into it right away. We're playing for tags and it's like competitive, and I'm just getting my ass whipped. And I'm like, this doesn't feel good. I want to win. And yeah, so I just let the competitive edge kind of like suck it out for me. And like, I'm not taking it out on anybody but myself. But even when that happens, like, you're taking, you're stealing, you're letting, that competitive side, but really like the mindset and the thought process kind of sucks some of the joy out of it. So, um, yeah, back to, I guess, just kind of the thought process starting, and then while playing a lot of golf, realizing I kind of wanted that creative outlet again. So, yeah, this happy with par idea kind of popped up and just kind of like drew up the artwork, sent it to a buddy of mine. One thing led to another and made like a small run of shirts. And then next thing you know, like I was going to vend at Smugs for Worlds. That was my first event. So
Oh,
When
that
when was
was?
this? When
yeah,
did all this start?
um, I think I made the Instagram account in like May 22, I think it was. Or maybe it was like February-ish because I do remember one of the first reels I put up was at Lum's Pond and there's snow on the ground.
Mm.
So yeah, it was pretty early, but I didn't make any merch or anything then at all. I literally just made an Instagram account like
When
Happy with Par. Um,
when was the first merch?
I want to say that was in May. That was probably around like May or like the summer of 2022. Like I just did a t-shirt. It had the little walking basket on the front and then like the big smiley chains on the back. And I
Yeah, I
did
know
like a
exactly
Oh
what shirt
yeah.
you're talking about.
yeah, and then I did like a hat, like just like a trucker hat, just a hat that I had worn before that like fit comfortably. I was like, all right, we're gonna smack the logo on it, and it's cool. And I just made like 50 shirts and maybe like 25 hats and like just took them to tournaments that I was playing in my community and they sold real quick. And I
You,
posted a couple pictures on Instagram, like just like check it out. I think I'm gonna start this thing and started getting messages. People just like, dude, that's sick. I would definitely buy one. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll try it. More than anything, it wasn't thinking that I was gonna like start a business. It was just like, oh shit, people think that these ideas are cool. You know what I mean? Like it just that
Hmm.
man really gave me, I don't know. I live for we don't we just like thrive off of human interaction? I mean, honestly, like I think at the end of the day, like there's that part of me that I didn't realize, especially talking about like COVID, right? Because this is all around the same well, I started playing disc golf in like 2019, so like kind of right before COVID. And then I'm playing disc golf a lot and starting to get that human connection back. And that's when I realized like, dude, I really thrive off of social interaction.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, back to, just getting the positive feedback and seeing that even like talking about, I wasn't really talking about a whole lot of mental health stuff yet, but I think it was, very much laced in there and should have been a birdie, but it could have been a bogey, was the saying on the first shirt. And I think, people kind of caught that, which makes me super happy and proud that it kind of like translated so well. Um,
yeah,
so yeah.
kind of funny story. I had a very similar idea when I first started my YouTube channel. I wanted my merch to say "Happy with Par," and when
No
I
way.
started getting pretty serious about putting out merch, I like looked it up just to see, and then I see your account, and I'm like, well, darn, I'm not
Oh, you guys
unique in
got
this
beef.
idea.
That's
So
crazy. That's actually so
yeah,
cool.
no, I literally had like a whole design and I was like, oh, this is such a funny saying. Like, it just hits so perfectly for what, J Millie embodies. And then I look it up and it's already exactly what I envisioned. And I'm like,
Dude,
okay, well, can't go down that route.
my man
Dang,
is
dude.
quick on the
Well,
trigger.
we can collab. Let's collab in some way for sure. Let's hook Jay Millie up. Let's get a little Jay Millie like signature jersey or something. There'll be like a little
Could
cartoon of you,
work,
and he's like,
dude.
"I thought of it first."
That's
That's
No,
amazing.
I
We'll
don't
good.
run.
even I don't even think I thought of it first.
Nah,
I'm sure you thought of it first, but
yeah.
I did
I
have
mean,
that idea in a vacuum.
yeah. It's definitely not like happy with par. Like I didn't come up with that, right? I mean, I'm sure people said it. I don't think I'm some sort of genius by any means. And even, the Parker, I call him, the walking basket. Parker, that's pretty slick, right?
Hey,
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, that's not to say it's not original, but I mean, what do you call? I can't remember what that's called. Not anamorphic. I can't remember what it is, but like, making tangible objects like
Caricature?
human,
Oh.
like
whatever the
talking
word.
talking like the 1940s aesthetic of like the
Yeah,
cutesy
I mean, like
objects and
what I would really kind of had in mind was like going to
Inanimate
the
object.
drive-in, and when the concession commercial comes on, it's like the walking popcorn and
yeah,
soda guys.
yeah.
You know what I
Let's
mean?
all go to the lobby.
Right. Let's all
Yo,
go to the.
yo,
Yeah.
you know what's crazy? Sorry, I have to do a sidetrack off this, but I made a mashup, a dubstep remix mashup to "Let's All Go to the Lobby." It is actually one of the proudest things I've ever made, and actually,
That's sick, bro.
I here it is. I'm gonna make my own reel for it. Here it is.
Yeah. Put the link in here. You better. We want the
No, I'll
SoundCloud.
make
We
a
want to
reel.
hear
I'll make
that.
a reel because the world needs to listen to it because it is single. I showed it to my close friends like once a year, but it is single-handedly one of the best things I've
That
ever
you've ever.
created.
Anthropomorphism.
Anthropomorphism. What did I say? I said anamorphic or something.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
know the word. I had to look
You
it
did.
up. But I wanted
Close
You said
enough.
anamorphic. I got a question for you. So, funny story. Funsie was originally going to be a clothing brand that I just did for disc golf. I thought it'd be cool, little trucker hats, stuff like that, just like super cool, fun little stuff. I then started to realize like I got way too much going on, and to really do a successful clothing brand, you gotta you gotta do it. You gotta put your all into it. It's not like everyone seems like they start their own clothing brand at one point and then it just kind of like fizzles off. So me realizing that, I'm like, yeah, maybe I can make it like a podcast, and then I hit up these guys, and that's why it's called Funsie, because this was originally going to be like my clothing brand. But where I'm going with this is, how do you, any advice, one, for people starting like a clothing brand to keep at it and not fizzle out? Two, how do you grow the brand and keep just doing it? I mean, you've already probably more successful than 99% of any brands, clothing brands that have started, from a home. So how do you just keep going? What's been your keys of success?
That's crazy, dog. Like, thank you, man. That just feels like I'm just soaking up compliments, honestly, because
That's what I do.
to hear somebody think that, it seems like a very successful clothing brand like that's sick, man. What advice would I give? I don't know. I like it's hard for me because let me answer the second question
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Mhm.
Let me respond to the latter. Um, all right, so there's this band called Hot Chip that I really like, and they have this song. I can't remember which song it is right now, but they have a lyric
Hot
from it that
salsa,
says,
probably.
say it again.
Mild salsa
No, it's not mild salsa.
by Hot
Hot
Chip.
chips and mild salsa. That's the different combination. But they say, you'll see we take fun seriously. And that's always kind of been like something that I try to keep in mind when I don't know, I guess like getting involved in something that I know is a lot of work, but I want to be involved in type of deal. Just kind of trying to make sure that I do keep it fun and that I'm having fun with it more than anything, because once it gets really stressful or I start feeling overwhelmed, admittedly, that's like when I could kind of just flip the switch and turn it off. Um, so yeah, I don't know. For me, I just try to like keep it fun, and also I've had a hard time sometimes separating myself from the brand, like my face from Happy with Par just being like a clothing brand. It still very much feels like it's like kind of like a journey for me. Not to sound cheesy, but like, to the mental health bit. Like I said, I started this really a saying that I had going for myself. So I started this for myself. I feel like just as much as I started it for anybody else. Part of that, right, is getting the positive uh, feedback from people around the designs or colorways or message or maybe something that I say in this podcast that they listen. Um, so yeah, I'm just trying to really keep it fun. I do take breaks. Like when I got back from USDGC, when was that? Like October like 15th or something, like middle of October. And what's it
Yeah.
now? Like almost a month later. Like I just got my website updated because I just needed to take some time off, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When I got home, I got back to work, and after sitting in front of a computer all day, like the last thing I wanted to do was update inventory straight up. I wanted to play
Mm-hmm.
with my kid and go play disc golf and just stuff like that. Um, so I don't know. I guess the advice that I would give to somebody like myself is make sure that you're having fun, take your time, set your priorities, like the things that are most important for operating the business, or at least like not tanking the business in whatever fashion. There's certain things that once the ball gets rolling, you got to keep the ball rolling. So, I kind of make that priority over, I don't know, maybe getting content or something sometimes. Um, so I don't know. And also just like reach out for help, man. If there's something that you want to do, taking the first step is like so scary. And I'm sure all three of you can attest to this because even just putting yourself out there on the internet and, sharing your tournament scores or whatever we do. Starting an entire disc golf expo, like that's crazy. Nathan or Sacco, whatever I'm supposed to call you. I listened to the episode
It's
where he
Sajko.
can't
It's
decide
Sajko.
who calls what, but I think I always called you Nathan because I
Yeah, you
didn't know how
did.
to say your last name. But man, like if none of us took the first step of just being like, kind of vulnerable, putting ourselves out there, like what cool opportunities have been afforded to each of us already because you just, took the first step.
Yeah, I
That's
completely.
poetic. I love that.
Well, you said it's definitely about sticking with it for the sake of fun. Like that does help get you into something, but it also sounds like doing happy with par kind of creates fulfillment in your life as well. Which
Yeah.
I recently I found out like like a lot of the people that are in the disc golf space have been doing the same thing. Like that's why I'm here. I just enjoy having a creative, or at least that's why it brought me in. Like disc golf's fun, and then I wanted a creative outlet, so started making videos and whatnot. And then now it's becoming like more and more of a prominent, serious part of my life. Um, so I guess what what sort of, I guess, like fulfillment does that bring you? Because like you said, you work a day job, and this is just kind of like a passion project. And did you even do like merch prior to deciding that you wanted to do merch for the brand?
Yeah,
Um,
what's your day job first of all?
so I've been at my company for like 15 years now and done a bunch of different things from operating machinery to like clean room testing and all kinds of stuff. But now I work in sales and it's I'm kind of more on like the administrative side of things, managing accounts, stuff like that. Um, it's cool because I'm learning like the other side of what you need to do within a business, even though it's on a lot greater scale. Ultimately, I mean, I know I've heard you guys talk about this, but like, man, getting myself full time, being able to pay the bills within the confines of disc golf would be amazing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the dream. It feels, pretty far out of reach right now, but no reason to stop. And even back to, Ben said the thing about a clothing brand fizzling out and stuff like that's also something that I've thought about more lately. And I think just because just like in life, man, you got some ebbs and flows and I not to say I burned myself out, but like I was grinding hard, man, through like August, September. Like I did those three events within what it was Worlds, Maple Hill, and then USDGC. So that's like three events in like a month or like 5 weeks or something like that. And yeah, so that's each one of them is, almost 8 hour drive, 5 hour drive, 6 hour drive for me. And I'm doing all that in between like my day job. I'm just taking vacation to go work at events. And I was caddying in the morning at each event, and then I'd bust open the booth at Worlds. I was bouncing back and forth between courses. And I helped run that alt mart with Greggy from OTB and a bunch of other
Mm-hmm.
awesome people. So like it was work. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but man, it was a grind. Like it was like 15, 16 hour days just running. Um, but so what I was getting at is like through all of that, through grinding, so much awesome stuff happens. But then I come back to like real life where I'm just like, I kind of got a taste of it, and now this is what I gotta do. And that kind of like became like like on set, man, I kind of got like bummed out. Like I don't even know if happy with par is like worth anything. Not like not necessarily monetarily, but like partially that, but also like will it last the test of time? Like what am I doing? Am I wasting my time? But then you realize or you think like, for instance, I was talking to, I'm not going to say who it was, but I was talking to a guy within the disc golf world. He has some store, or he has a store at least, and does really well, online and everything. But he's just talking to me about how, like, man, I might have to close the store. And I was just like, yeah, but if you close your store, then you're going to have so much less overhead and you're going to be able to grind online more, and your online sales are already killing it, right? And this just even kind of started the process of like, dude, it's all phases and it's all learning processes. And, maybe one day I gotta pack up happy with par. Hopefully, at the very least, I can like sell it and get some money off it at the end.
Yeah.
But if one day, you know what I mean, I'm not able to carry on, or it just doesn't have, I don't know, the draw or whatever, like it was still something that I did in my life. Like back to those bands, back to, like hip hop record or mixtapes that I put out and stuff. Like it was a time, what I mean? It was a thing, and I really wanted to do it, so I did it. And man, my kid, if he likes disc golf, dude, he's got street cred already, and
Let's
just like stuff
go.
like that, man. It's definitely like I want it to become something bigger, and I'm gonna try for that for sure. Right now, it's just a one man operation. That's a lot to learn and do, but no matter what, like we're having a good time with it. So.
For sure. We're also, I mean, it still says that we're recording. We're going to stop. I'm sure you saw that. It's just focused on my face for the last couple of minutes. Ben's computer froze, I guess.
Okay.
So we're going to, yeah, we'll just pause. And
Yeah, it's
that's
all
why
good, man.
I kept looking away because he's just blowing up the group chat with, like, I mean, he just sent like 10 texts of individual thoughts.
All good, dude.
Yeah.
You get me talking, dude, and I'm just gonna pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, dude, you're in the perfect place to do that, and we're asking you questions.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the whole reason you're on, dude. You're supposed
Exactly.
To, you're
All's
supposed to
good.
talk the whole time.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
No, dude, it's our pleasure.
It was just cool because I'm like, the day that I said something about like, all right, who wants to talk? Who wants to talk to me? I need to do a podcast. It was literally like because I just I rolled out of the funk and I was like, all right, let's get back into this, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's cool that you like immediately were like, yo, dude. And honestly, man, like all cheesiness, all corniness aside, I'm just gonna say it. I don't know if there could have been a better person than I would have like wanted to chat with, catch up with you guys. You the coolest New England boys.
So going from Vermont back like last year, 2023, and then this year, I mean, I saw you at every single event that I went to. So what does that ended up being? Worlds, MVP,
USDGC.
and then USDGC. So you're a busy man. Like you're in such a short span, or at least what feels like a short span on the outside. You're putting in work. You're moving around. You're all over the place.
You're putting on for Harborside, Maryland, or whatever it is.
I've never heard of Harborside.
Wait,
You're a poser,
but I do
dude.
live near the water.
Port something, Maryland.
Yeah, Port Deposit. It's,
There we go.
Where
I
you
knew
live?
Nobody knows what Port Deposit is, but it's all good.
Is it
Yeah.
a bank?
A bank?
Yeah.
No,
Port
it's not.
deposit?
It's not. It used to be an import export. So I guess when they were importing, the port was receiving deposits of goods.
Mm.
Maybe that's
Hey.
why they call it that. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are the three events that I attended this year, and mostly due to proximity. As I said, what was the furthest one? I guess USDGC was like 8.5 hour drive for me. And then the other two, what was the other ones I did? Oh yeah, Virginia was like 5 hours, and then Maple Hill was like 6-ish. So yeah, those just are just kind of like the most feasible. Is everything cool? All I see is me.
Yes,
Everything's
always.
Okay,
going.
all right. Yeah, but those are just kind of like the most feasible for me. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I guess kind of as like a disc golf fan too. Like I want to go to tour events, see what's up, but also, that's how you gain a little bit more reach, I think. And I love being in front of the people and talking like this, about the brand and about our, I don't know, our interaction with disc golf. Like,
What?
yeah,
Oh no, keep going.
I was gonna say like a couple episodes ago, Jay Millie, I think this was one that maybe you weren't on. I want to ask some questions about you too. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
Ben and Nathan, you guys were just like talking about the importance of disc golf to you and like in your life, and just even talking about I think some of the what kind of what we've already been talking about, how we found ourselves in these roles in disc golf in like the disc golf world.
Hmm.
And um I don't know, like it's so cool. It's like such a cool little small world. And you can kind of, I don't know, it just felt like a place that I felt like, I don't know, it kind of, I stepped right in and it felt like, my kind of people. And I felt like I wanted to make an impact and, influence in my local community and support. And that's how, it really started. And then the internet and Instagram comes into play. And so it was, I don't know, it's a place where you can just be your true, authentic self and maybe make some big fun out of it. And that's what I've been doing, man. That's why I go to the events, sell shirts, but also I just want to be all up in the mix. It's fun.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
it sometimes, not to speak for you, but it almost feels like, at least when I went to those events, those are kind of like the moments that you're like, oh yeah, this is what all that work is for. You're like, it finally comes up to this moment where I can see all these people and like hang out with these pros and whatnot.
Yeah,
Because
man.
yeah, like we've said, we still have day jobs and whatnot, so
Yeah.
you get a little bit
And
closer every
and
single time.
yeah, and I mean, so now I'll give the props to Ben and say, dude, like Northeast Disc Golf Expo last year, your second year, my first time attending. Man, what a cool thing that was. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and how didn't somebody think of that sooner? I don't know. I think people probably
They
maybe
did.
thought of it and they were just like, that's a big endeavor. That's a huge undertaking. But holy crap. I mean, talking about just being in the community and like being in the mix, that was so much fun for me because middle of winter was it's like the end of January, right? And just
mhm,
everybody
Yeah.
is, some people are starting to not play disc golf as much because the weather is pretty gnarly. Some people are, but are just ready to not be soaking wet. And so this place where you can get jam packed around a bunch of disc golfers and everything is so disc golf oriented. It's just like, man, I was nerding out, dude. I was having so much fun, and I was slinging merch and definitely making some cool connections up there too. So, man, I'm glad that you took this step, brother. I'm glad that the expo business is uh is alive and well
Booming.
for Mr. Expo. I
Yeah,
love it,
yeah.
man.
No,
It's so
I
dope.
appreciate you saying that.
Father Expo.
Me Stone Expo.
I'm changing your contact name.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of people I've had come up to me and be like, "Oh, I thought of that," and stuff like that. It's like, yeah,
Dude,
Cool.
did they
they're
really say that?
not in a facetious way, like not in a bad way. Like one of the like
Word
Leonard
of the
Muse,
day.
legend of disc golf. Like he just got inducted to the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. He was giving me props. Like he's like,
Gotcha.
yeah, like we've all thought of it. Like I even thought of it, and it's really cool that you actually went out and did it. But yeah, it's just
That's
one of
cool.
those things that I mean, with anything, it's a huge undertaking, and I always tell the story. That's why when I first realized there was no expo in disc golf, I got a pit in my stomach because I was like, "Welp, looks like I have to do this now." Like it's just like I don't care how it's gonna happen or what I'm gonna do. and I'm gonna make it happen. So it's been really cool, and I'll give props to you. You guys got the Clash guys there, which was like out of this world. First of all, they were awesome. They call me Mr. X, so that's why I got that nickname, Mr. Expo. But they were incredibly cool guys. They flew all the way, like last minute, it seemed like, from Finland just to literally give out their tone salts one every like hour, and like that was it. And like that, I think that's just the coolest thing ever. And it made me just have such a high opinion of Clash, just because they didn't have inventory, they didn't have all this stuff, but they knew they had to be there for the fans and for the people, and show off what they got and at least be present. So I thought that was the coolest thing, and I hope to see them again this year and at Disc South as well, and you at Disc South. I'm looking at you.
I would love to make it to Disc South, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that one's a little tough for me. But I've already been thinking about scenarios like how I can make it happen. That one's at like the end of March, right?
Yeah, March 1st and 2nd. So
it's March 1st.
End of February.
Yeah, well, I've been saying that I just want to take more vacations in like March when spring is right there, but it's just out of reach. I think if I went somewhere warm in March, it would really be good for for my mental health.
For the PMA.
Like, all right, I can wait a little bit longer. You know what I mean? I just got back from Dallas. But yeah, man, I don't know. I've seen some pretty nifty little setups I could probably put in a checked bag. And next thing you know, Happy with Par is serving up the goods in downtown Dallas.
Yes, sir.
Or something like that.
Or just ship it there. That's what a lot of companies do. They just ship their stuff.
I think I was gonna go back to really aiming to get Clash back this year.
Yes, please.
Working on that, man. It lined up last year where we were going back and forth on the tone stuff for a while. They finally set a date, and if you follow Clash at all, like they're definitely flying by their own rules, man. They're doing their thing the way they want to. And I don't. Sometimes I'm like, bruh, seriously, like, let's do this or let's do that. And they're like, thank you very much for your input. And then they do what they want to do. And it's like right on. But I was like, look, you're dropping tone like a week after this thing. I just started sending them links to like all the list of vendors that were going to be there. I'm like, Discraft is going to be there. They're dropping this. And Innova is going to drop this. And like, we have to make a footprint. And that was sick, man. That was like kind of the first, not to make it about me, but let me make it about me for a second.
All about you, this interview.
That was like the first real big move that I made with Clash, and it was super fun. Like that was the first time I spent time with them in real life, and I might be going to Finland next year and staying with them, and yeah, so it's just like it's so strange. Like, dude, actually, check this out. When was this? Like 3 weeks ago, a month ago or something. I'm like loading up the laundry down in my basement. I'm, last minute. So I'm like literally taking the clothes off, throwing them in because I'm not going to put dirty clothes in the hamper right after I start a load. So anyway, I'm like running upstairs in my little b-ball shorts, and Courtney, my lady, is like, "Aunt, there's a weird truck in the backyard." And I'm like, "What?" And before I can even like get to the backyard, my phone's ringing, and I'm getting an Instagram FaceTime from Timo. And like Timo calls me a lot, and we chit chat back and forth. Usually he just shows me stuff and says a couple words in English, and then we smile and laugh at each other and we hang up, and then he messages me and like whatever, he tells me whatever. But yeah, so I like pick up the FaceTime, I'm like, "What's up, Timo?" And he's in my backyard. Homie is in my backyard, and I'm like, "What?" So I like throw a shirt on real quick, and he's just like standing next to one of my baskets in the backyard, and he's like, "Hello!"
It's me,
Bro.
Timo.
I'm like, "What, bro?" And I run out back real quick, and like there he is in my backyard with one of his sons and this random white guy. And yeah, so he's like, surprise. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing here?" And he's just like, "I'm on vacation." So him and some of his family like are on vacation. Just so happens that Timo is like great friends with this guy who lives in Elkton, this other tiny town next to Port Deposit. Like no one in the world, like when they show the weather, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't show these towns. Like nobody
Mhm.
knows what this is.
They show
So the fact that this
Baltimore.
guy from yeah, they show Baltimore. So the fact that this guy from Finland is like, and he, pulled my address from I don't know, I guess, like shipping me stuff. Like he just has my address on file and just tells homie, yeah, the planty. He just tells this guy like, all right, we're gonna go visit my friend. So like the guy pulls up in my yard and my town is it's pretty rural. Um, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to hear that you got like a gun pulled on you because you pulled down the wrong driveway. Like shotgun, dude in his overalls, maybe chewing some straw, and
What
he's
you
like, "You on
doing
the
on my
wrong
property,
driveway."
boy?
Yeah. So, so the guy that's with Timo is like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry. Like I wanted to call you first," and I'm like, "Nah, that's cool, man. Timo, that's my homie." So he's basically just like,
That's so
he's like,
good.
"Yeah, we're gonna borrow one of your baskets so that my son can play disc golf like while we're here." And I'm just like, dude, you can take it. Like, whatever, man. You're all the way from Finland. Like, this is just wild. So, yeah, that's like the extent of my friendshit with Clash now. They
You were
just show
like,
up to my
Timo,
house.
this is not something we do in America. You
Yeah.
can't just show up in my backyard
It's
with a
funny
giant
because
truck.
I've never paid so much attention to Finnish culture as I have in like the past 2 years, right? And all the things that they like the stereotypical Finns are like they very much keep to themselves, like no small talk. The joke is that like they say like when the COVID like 6 foot rule or whatever came into effect, they were all like, ah, we already have 9 foot rule. It's like that's the joke. But man, Timo and Marku, they are friendly, funny guys, and Haiti too. Like
Dude, they're awesome.
man, Haiti has really become my buddy over the past like 2 years, and they're just the coolest people ever. So man, disc golf, right? Just
How
international
did you
friendships.
get hooked up with the guys over at Clash? How does that partnership between Happy with Par and Clash work?
It started on Instagram. It started on the gram, and then I'm kind of like, um, I kind of like contract for them, I guess you would say. So it just started out as a thing where I think I got a mango from like a tournament winnings. It was actually this one. It was this first run
Ooh.
mango I got from like tournament winnings at a local tournament, like playing AM, and just posted a video or something of me throwing it. And then they did this thing where they were releasing a new driver, so they're like, help us name our new driver. So I threw a name out there, which was the Almond, and they messaged me and were like, "Hey, we're not going to use your name, but we like the idea and we want to send you a gift because you're like runner up or something." So yeah, they sent me a box of discs, and then it's just kind of I'm like, all right, cool. They like the Instagram interaction, right? Like that's just how it happened. Um, and then like a couple weeks later, another box would show up, and a couple weeks later, another box would show up, and then yeah, they just like messaged me one day like, "We make team. You can be Clash player." And I'm like, "Sick, dude. You guys know I'm not that great at disc golf, right? Like, I don't know if like the Instagram fooled you, but like I'm like
I'm not a
not. I think
touring
I'm
pro.
probably like I'm like 912 rated or something at the time, and I'm like only 925 rated now. Like I can hang with my local. That's not where I should be, right? But doesn't everybody say that? But like I can hang with my local crew, but I play with Fish and Chandler, and they just smoke me, dude. Like it ain't like that, Timo. But yeah, they just let. I guess we're digging what I was doing, and I was digging what they were doing, and so yeah, they asked me to kind of do the team thing. We did that for a year, and I was just I was the kid that like would cold call every skateboard company so I could get like free stickers and like try to get a hat and like stuff like that. Like that was just kind of like always in me. Like if I wanted something, once I got the idea, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna figure out how to get this.
You know what's
And
crazy? I did that with Clash.
did you?
I have like a bunch of like Nico LaCastro
Oh yeah, yeah.
discs and stuff like that. Yeah, I messaged him. I was like, this was early on. Like we talked about his last episode. Early on, I was like, yeah, oh, I'm on the Nick and Matt show now. I can like, maybe get some
I'm
discs. And yeah, they sent me a few discs that I still have, like popcorns and butters
That's
and
sick.
mangoes and stuff like that. So that's so funny.
Yeah,
So
man.
shout out them.
Yeah, Clash is cool, man. Like I said, I think they're kind of like. I heard somebody say this. I'm pretty sure it was a dude from Discraft, but he said this at the booth at Northeast Disc Golf Expo. He like leaned into a buddy of his and he was like, "These guys are the mad scientists of disc golf." And I'm just like
Literally.
doing all the translating and everything at the time. So I'm really feeling like, I was like,
You're
I really felt like,
C3PO.
yeah,
And,
I was
yeah,
totally.
yeah.
I've
And
never watched a single Star Wars movie, but I know I was the little robot.
I just finished the first 3 release, so 4, 5, 6 for the first time in my life this week. So
Okay.
it's fresh in my mind.
Well, I worked at a Blockbuster back in the day, and I
Ooh.
definitely got a couple DVDs on deck. Pretty sure I got the entire Star Wars series, and maybe I'll dig into that.
Dude, that's back-to-back weeks that Star Wars has come up somehow.
It's because,
Because
bro.
Ben is watching it.
Yeah, I'm watching. It's fresh on my mind. He's a translator. That's what C3. But he's like, I know 5 million different dialects, but for some reason he didn't know like the Ewok dialect or whatever. Like, bro. Like,
Anyways,
Yeah.
we got this man on the pod. We're just, yeah.
Nah, that's sick, dude. I like it that that's what you're into lately. I feel like
what
it's
we're on to.
even if you think it's corny or if it's like not really your thing, you can't deny that this is like cinematic, it's legendary cinema.
Yes,
That's what I
groundbreaking
Oh, for
cinema.
Yeah, I mean, do not
Yes.
knock that.
Do not
Mhm.
knock it. If like people, I don't want to tell people what I actually thought of the movies ratings wise because they'd hate me. But I also understand like for the time it was like the greatest thing ever. Period. Bar none.
So they
Um,
say.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry,
Anyway, yeah.
a little sidetracked. But to further sidetrack, actually, the Clash guys had this salted licorice at the expo. And I just
So
kept
bad.
walking by them and I was like, you got any more? And they would
Oh,
just
what's
like,
it?
I forget
Oh,
what
did
it's
you
called.
like
Salmiakki.
it?
I loved
Sa-
it, bro. They kept giving
Salmiakki.
I would be like working and I'd be like, and they'd be like, Mr. Expo. And I'd be like, black licorice. and it
So
would be
gross.
like, I would just like, and yeah. So those guys, coolest guys in the world and mad
Yeah.
scientists. And like, you wouldn't know they have a successful company just because they're that cool.
Pretty
Dude,
cool,
so-
dudes.
So with Clash, is that how you kind of got linked up, like becoming friends with Haiti and like caddying and whatnot?
Yeah, yeah. At Worlds last year, 2023. I think it was just like the Clash thing. We were following each other on Instagram just because of Clash, and they come walking by, like her and Sasu come walking by the booth and kind of looking at me like they recognize the logo at least, if nothing else. Yeah, and we just started chit-chatting, and I just basically was like, I am gonna be your guys' friend now. So every time you get done playing around, make sure you come over here and talk with me. You can sit in my chairs, and yeah, just kind of like as cheesy as it gets, I'm just like offering them like a place to just kind of like kick it. She didn't really speak very good English last year. It's getting a lot better. I think our friendship also is to the point now where we're just like not gonna like smile and shake our heads when we don't know. We're like really pushing through and trying to figure out where each other are at. So that's created some hilarious moments too. But also her boyfriend Sasu, shout out Sasu, man. That's the homie. Me and him talked about music a lot. And yeah, we just kind of became buddies. And yeah, then I think Haiti just kind of got like drug along in that. She was kind of like, yeah, he's all right, but you know what I mean? And then Yeah, so this year when she come back, like actually I think Sasu hit me up and was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. So, Hades traveling alone, make sure you look out for her type of deal. Like you guys should like link up. And I think it was just her and her sister, who, by the way, her sister is like a sick disc golfer too. She doesn't play as many US tournaments, but Sonia, she played Worlds this year. I think it was her first. I don't think it was her first American US event, but it was her first Worlds. And yeah, that's just so cool that they like got to do that together. And yeah, so she asked me if I wanted to caddy for her since Sasu wasn't there, and I was stoked on it. And that was really, really fun too, because since I know the lineup and I follow these players and their game, and especially the ones that like I really like or consider like my friends. So I kind of know like what Hades' game is like, and maybe the first round we mostly just kind of kept it fun, but then it got to the point where she was even kind of like asking me for advice, or she would just kind of like run her strategy, and I'd kind of say go for it or whatever. A lot of it is mental health, like not mental health, but just like mental cues, like reeling yourself back in after this or that. It seems a lot of the Finns have sort of like mental block. I don't know if it's something in the culture or if it's a little bit. I mean, dude, if I was traveling across the world and, completely out of my element and can't talk to 80% of the people around, like, I don't know, I think they're pretty brave and strong people just for doing all that. I mean, obviously it's what
Completely.
you love, but man, that's out of your element, dude. But yeah, so we talk a lot about like mental game, and she she loves happy with par and that kind of thought process. And yeah, man. So, and she
Dude,
played out of her mind. Like Ivy Hill was crazy tough with all the OB and everything, but she just played out of her mind. Eighth place, so top 10. I think it was her second Worlds. Um, yeah, man, it was awesome. It was so
that's a
cool to see.
that's a good feeling. I think it was MVP Open when you shared. I think you were caddying for her, or wait, no, you caddied for Maria.
Yeah, I was
Either
catching for Maria.
either either way. You mentioned a story where I think Haiti like went off into the rough, and she said something to the effect of like, "I am in kale," and everyone's like, She's what? What is she even saying?" And then you're like, "Oh, you're in jail. You're in
Yeah.
jail. I get it. Okay, cool."
She was like, I take this. Now I go where criminals go. And I'm like, what? And she was like, you just stay here. You don't have to walk in here with me. And I'm like, all right. And then as she goes in there, I'm like, oh, she's going where the
The
criminals go. All right,
criminals
yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's
So she
cool.
like
That's
came back
so
out,
good.
and I'm like, yeah, so Haiti, we call that jail. And she's like, ah, yes, this is jail. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then she would like, it was just like other funny stuff too. She would say, when we were at Ivy Hill, right? Because it's just, you're out in the wide open. It was super warm and sunny. And she
Yeah.
kept like saying, like, we go to the shade, we go to the shadow, we go to the shadow. And I'm like, yeah, that's correct. I mean, it is a tree shadow. But what we say, Haiti, is we call this the shade. We're going to go to the shade. And she's like, this is shadow. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It is the shadow of the tree. I cast the shadow. But what we say is that we're going to the shade. And Haley King's on the card, and she's like, and you also can throw shade. And Hades, like, her mind is just like, why you
Throw
have so many
shade.
words you don't need say this? And I'm like, we're just laughing, dude. It was, there's something just so wholesome about her,
Yeah.
but also like kind of intimidating because she can bench me. Like, yeah, so
Yeah, dude. Every like story or thing that she posts is her like in the gym working out, whatnot. Yeah, it seems like she
for
takes it very serious.
yeah, man, she grinds, dude. I mean, I think this too, like, just a lot of these Finnish athletes, or since I've started paying attention to it, rather, um, it seems like they all or at least I don't know, right? I'm following athletes or disc golfers. But yeah, they've all got like multiple sports that they're playing. I figure when it's, snowy and dark, the majority of the year, you got to find something to do with yourself. But man, they've got some rad facilities that just look like really high tech, high end, um, like great equipment. And, meeting Coach Jonas, um, like he's just the biomechanics of disc golf is his training program that he's kind of like written up, and he's super super knowledgeable. And it's from disc golf to actual like functional fitness in the gym and flexibility and mobility, and just like their heavy focus on all that has kind of like even I don't know, just inspired me a little bit. Like I got a hold of some of his lessons and got myself some tension bands and like a couple dumbbells and kettlebells, and like I'm not doing anything crazy, but it makes me feel good, to kind of like snap into that routine. And it's also, just good for you to like work out and break a little sweat. So um, I really admire the like dedication that they have. I think when you're afforded, um, the outlets like those crazy facilities that they have and stuff like that, it definitely makes it a little bit easier to keep up. But they are dedicated to their craft, man. They're really grinding, and that goes for not just Haiti, but a lot more of these young players. There's this girl, I think she's 15. Her name's Ida, Iida. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce her last name, but dude, this girl is killing it too, and a bunch of younger players. But yeah, they take it super seriously, and I can't wait to go over there and just get to see some of this, see some of it like in real life.
Didn't that girl, Ida, didn't she win on the Pro Tour or like the European Pro Tour or something this past
Yeah,
year? And it was like a
yeah,
big headline. Yeah, like you're saying. Yeah, like 15 years old or something. And you're like,
dude, she's
what is
15. Yeah,
just
and
slaying fools out there?
dude, she bombs. I mean, just watching the kids now, and like Jay Millie, I'll say it like with you too, and Ben with you too. Like I watch a lot of disc golf content now, and just like watching the form of younger people coming up and stuff, it's wild, dude. Like I don't know. I see like I get it. Like I get it, but applying it is just wild. And man, like watching the kids that are doing it and they're still like pretty small, like just thinking about following these sort of like disciplined routines and the functional fitness. It's not about bodybuilding, but just like the core strengthening and then getting the mechanics down. Like, dude, disc golf is gonna be crazy. Like it
Yeah,
is
it's
gonna
gonna
get
be wild.
crazy. Yeah. And all
Yeah,
right,
I'm
so I
excited.
said I wanted to bring in Jay Millie a little bit.
Yeah,
I've
what
never
up?
met this guy in real life, but I don't know how I found your Instagram, but I've been following you for a little while. And I really like your like um tournament recaps and how you were like pretty open and sharing that stuff. Because I like seeing people share, the all of it. And like, where are you from?
I'm in Texas.
Okay, I knew you weren't New England.
I'm in Dallas actually, so
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
at just
sick.
south.
Okay, sick. So, what's your deal? Are you like still playing? Did you get a bump today, or what's going on with you, man? I know you got some
Uh
rad golf coming up.
yeah, I only bumped up 1 point, but I did play a tournament this weekend and I did pretty solid actually. So that
Nice,
was that was huge.
nice.
Yeah.
How
It
long
was
have
an
you been
8-2.
playing?
I started in COVID as
All
well.
right,
I started playing competitively November of 22 though. So I
nice.
guess about 2 years now. So
Yeah,
yeah, pretty hype. It was
smart that you gave yourself a little bit of time between like starting to play and then starting to play
yes.
tournaments.
Yeah. I was nervous. And also I didn't know how to do it. Like it's not really the most like easy thing to figure out. Like it's kind of confusing in my opinion.
What, like signing up or?
Yeah, like how do you even know about disc golf scene? Like
Oh, right.
who tells anyone what the frick disc golf scene is? That is a tribal knowledge thing in disc golf. Like disc golf scene runs no ads. PDGA does not push to disc golf scene. Like, how are you supposed to figure that out unless someone tells you? You know?
Did you not? Did you just start playing by yourself, not like with a community?
Yeah, me and a few friends, but
Okay.
like we just found a course. It wasn't like someone was like, "Hey, try this out." It was we saw a course and we were like, "Oh, let's play." And so we
Right
bought some
on.
discs and we played. We got into it. Started watching Joe Mez. We were like, "Oh, how do we play tournaments?" And then we
Yeah.
could never figure it out. It took us like 6 months to figure it out. And then by then it was like, "Oh, I'd be like 700 rated. There's no way." And then,
Yeah.
you know.
That's wild to me because I wonder how many times I saw a disc golf basket and just like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
once I did figure it out, and I was introduced to disc golf, like I said, like with a pretty big community. So disc golf scene was like right away. It's like, all right, dude, make sure you sign up for this. We're all going to be playing, da da da. Um,
Mm,
you know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
but then as I talk to people, and I guess it's just a different experience for everyone because I'm sure you got a club that you, or do you? Is there a club that you like engage with at all now?
No,
No?
no one's
Is there
really
not
like
one
ever
local
tried
to
to
you?
talk. Yeah, there's a few local, but they're
Okay.
pretty. They're like pretty like, oh, we've known each other 20 years.
They're
Like
exclusive.
no one can
Mm.
join.
Ah,
This
that's
is
whack.
our thing, you know.
That's
And
whack.
yeah, they're older dudes as well, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
don't know if
Well,
they.
I was just gonna say like, because once I did figure out, and like I said, really, I guess like my club, my Cecil County Disc Golf, CCDG,
Ooh.
it kind of like happened right when I was like starting. So I was
Mhm.
sort of like a part of it before I really was like kind of playing disc golf. But then once it clicked, like, man, I live I live like 15 minutes from Iron Hill. If you are familiar with Iron Hill, which like used
In
to be a
Delaware?
national tour stop. Yep, yep.
Oh, I didn't know you lived
Yeah,
that close. What the heck?
yeah, yeah. I
I
can
was
get
there.
to like Jersey, PA, Delaware, Maryland, all within 40 minutes. So like can play
Dang.
Staff, or I
That's
guess I could
crazy.
play Stafford. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
Not
when I started
anymore.
playing disc golf, say that again.
Not
Oh,
anymore.
no, 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 no. Don't say it again. Makes me sad.
This
Makes
is
me
Stop,
so
very
dude.
sad.
sad.
But yeah, like once I started playing, I'm like, dang, bro, like disc golf is all around me. How did I
Yeah.
not know this?
Mhm.
So, to hear you say like, oh, I just kind of like discovered disc golf, and I talked to other people too, who tell me like, yeah, man, I've just been spending like weeks out here trying to get my course playable again. I'm like, doesn't anybody help you? And he's like, no way, man. There's nobody that does coursework around here. I'm like, seriously? Like, we got like 9 guys that show up every 3 months or whatever. Like, we kind of have now like crews designated to like separate courses so that like everything just kind of keeps rolling. And I'm like, holy crap, like, I didn't realize how blessed I was. I'm really
New
lucky.
England disc golf is different. From talking to Ben and Sacco, I've
We're
realized,
built different.
hearing about like team challenge and all those things, I'm like, oh, that is not really how it goes down here in Texas. And I'm actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I'm interested. I've talked about starting my own league, like a J
Yeah,
Millie
dude,
league or
Dude.
something like that. I think it'd be a
you
lot of fun.
should. That's what it
Yeah.
takes, man.
J Leaguey.
J Leaguey.
I'll give that to you for free. You're welcome.
J-Mill League.
Thank you.
Like, dude, imagine
Oh,
if you
there we
did
go. There we
J
go.
Mill
J
League.
League. That's lit.
That that one rolls off the tongue best.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you
But
don't
if
have
you
something in
started
your area, then
if you
start something
started a
that you want.
JMill league, or even if you just did like a putting league or something like that, who
Yeah.
knows, man? Maybe you just opened the door for 15 other dudes who are kind of like you and your friends who are like, we want to do stuff that is more organized. Maybe they want to contribute even too, but just don't really know what that avenue is yet because the club feels kind of exclusive or something. And,
Hmm.
like I never really thought of this until now, but I'm glad that we don't have like club on our name. We're just like a community, right? Seas County Disc Golf
Yeah.
Community,
Heck
because
yeah.
a club, I guess that kind of does give the vibe of being more exclusive, right? And
Hmm.
the big goal is to grow the sport. like, man, we have so many. We really do have like quite a few different walks of life in my community, people that show up to. We have putting league on Wednesday nights now. We have glow on Friday nights now. There's, between CCDG, Delaware Disc Golf, and then there's like the county next to us. There's a tournament almost every weekend. Almost, it got to the point where like things got oversaturated, right? And we didn't even, so it really became like all of us working together with like, I don't know, an Excel calendar or something like that, a Google Calendar of just like, we're running events. This is when this is happening. We don't want to overlap because, man, the community aspect of it is cool and it's real. It's very real for a lot of people, and it kind of is, to like a mental health bit. It's really good to have people that you can connect with, even if you aren't talking about the things that are weighing on you. Just to get out there in nature, throw some frisbees, hanging out with friends, laughing, crying,
Totally. Totally.
stepping into the arena and embracing the struggle together. And every once in a while, like banging chains.
Yeah, dude.
Dope.
Sick. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, that seems like a pretty decent
But I'm
spot to.
Dude, that was great. That was great. We got into the brain of how you can be happy with par. Something I struggle with to this day. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm
sometimes.
trying. Yeah, real quick though, since we mentioned it earlier, and I'm just realizing that I didn't say anything about it at all.
Oh,
Shout out to the Foundation boys because, yeah, I did collab with them or partner with them for episode 3 of the Imposter Show. It's on YouTube now. There's a cool little twist that involves the brand, and those guys are quite nice gentlemen. I enjoy them very much. We linked up at I think it was USDGC last year, very organic. That's how it happens. I'm happy to work with people that are happy to work with me and happy with par. So,
Bro, I'll
There
never
you go.
forget. I'll never forget just sitting at the rocking chair on UGC watching the big screen, and then you just come in with your stuff.
yeah,
You're
Packing
like,
up.
why is everyone looking at me? I'm like, I don't know. You're just happy.
because you're standing in front of the Jumbotron. Hole 17 of the final round. Get out of here, man. Whatever, dude. Prime
What's
parking.
your real name? Happy
Anthony.
with par? Anthony. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Very
Happy
nice to meet
Anthony.
you, Anthony. Happy with par.
Nice to meet you too, buddy. Is it Josh?
My real name is Josh,
Okay,
not Jay
all
Millie.
perfect to do introductions at the very end of the
I
episode.
love it.
Yeah.
Opposite
Yeah.
day.
It's well, hey, yeah, Anthony, we appreciate you. Really,
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's
It was
always
fun.
a pleasure. Like anytime that I see you at an event, definitely like go out of my way to go hang out, say hi.
Likewise, brother.
So yeah, where can
I'll see you in
listeners?
January.
Dude, I will see you in January. Where can listeners find you?
Yeah, follow on Instagram at happywithpar.dg. You can check out the website happywithpar.com, and I'm on Facebook, but that's mostly just Instagram reposts. So
Completely,
yeah,
Heck yeah, dude.
thanks for
Awesome.
having me, guys.
of
The
course.
Kings of New England and their prince.
And Jay
from
Millie. Yeah. And Jay Millie. Yeah. Thanks.
Sick dude.
Appreciate it.